Hello and welcome to the Legends of Tabletop podcast. We are getting ready to play Fear itself tonight. We haven't been running too many games recently. There's a variety of reasons for that, but suffice to say, we're going to play tonight. We are going to kind of pick up where last episode left off, so I will give a brief recap, but tonight's episode is going to be more of it's not even really a flashback. We'll figure it out as we get to playing, as we were, sort of discussing this beforehand. But I will give a recap from last session. We were up in Randy's room after Erin met that guy and was theoretically poisoned by the drink that was sent to him. We were texting him trying to figure out, like, maybe we could get him to come up and we could snatch him or whatever. He wasn't in for it, but Jack went to talk to Delphine, the Countess. He pointed out the guy because he was still downstairs. She said that he was one of the workers, had been working at the hotel for a couple of months. Let's see. I can't read what this says. Oh, we set up GoPros in all the rooms and set out for the staff quarters. Oh, out the back. So we went outside. And we went towards the staff quarters to see if maybe we could find that guy or whatever. People were going into the building. There was a keypad. Jack unbelievably saw them punching the code for the keypad. But before we broke into the building, the guy came sort of staggering out from the hotel, where we commenced to beat the crap out of him. Or at least Jack and Randy did, because Erin, unsurprisingly, was affected by a spell in the drink. So he did not help fight the guy, but in fact tried to fight Jack off. Well, that doesn't sound good either. He tried to prevent Jack from beating up on the guy. You get what I'm saying. So, we ended up with the guy getting tied up. We took him out to the barn area, the stable area, and we made a phone call for pickup. So they were going to come and snatch that guy up. So I guess ostensibly we're going to start there, but only sort of. So we'll kick it over to Neil and we'll find out what happens tonight.
All right. So I don't know what you just said because I was getting a drink. Are you editing this out? I don't know.
Maybe not.
It's okay. He just recapped horribly because he was trying to read his own handwriting and then realized he couldn't read his own handwriting. And then accidentally made a jack off joke without really trying to say that, and it came off horribly. But we all got the gist. It was the thing where we wanted to get to this certain point where we could continue the story, but unfortunately, we're gonna do something else. But it'll still be fun because I'm here. So
I think you might have even more fun. This is gonna be a fun one, guys. I think the audience is gonna enjoy this. This is gonna be a fun time for everyone.
I'm already scared.
It's going to be fun. We're doing a good time. So as far as I remembered, you were all in a room with Kenneth tied up, the cultist that you have captured, who theoretically is leading some amount of the rune creation, summoning rituals, whatever might be happening in the pit below the lake house. You have captured him and are keeping watch until Wyatt comes to pick him up for interrogation.
That's pretty much what I said.
That's what I was hoping you said, because I wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
But was it really? Was it?
Well, I mean, there's the whole jack off thing. I don't know.
That is true. That's true.
I didn't have any notes about either of you jacking off. So if you want me to put that in the notes that one of you's jacking off, great. If one of you is jacking another one off, great. We are fully
no judgments here.
We are woke. I'm totally cool with it. Maybe someone's if whoever's in the middle's going skiing. That was a joke back in the day. Anyone? That was a joke. Anybody? Anyone who listens, if you heard that joke, you get it. And if you didn't hear that joke, you get it skiing. Think about it. Ski poles and the motion and dicks.
Oh, wasn't that like a joke in like ski school back in the 80s?
Was it in ski school? Oh, I thought
I really hope it was. I really loved
some
Emily.
fucking loser
So
probably
terrible.
fucking told it to me and pretended it was his joke. And I would say, and I guarantee it's his, because no girl is going to tell that joke because it's too garbage for a girl to tell.
Yeah,
a girl will
exactly.
tell a much better joke than that because they're
Yeah,
smarter
exactly.
and better. They're fucking, we're dumb dummies. Anywho, you know what? Look, if men want to be like, oh, don't shit on men, you know what? Don't listen to this podcast. We're nerds. Nerds know that ladies are cool too. So we got it. Anywho, you're in the room. And I'm trying to remember how I'm saying. So, okay. So you're in the room. You're taking watch. John's editing a lot.
That's what I do.
Sorry. Jack has decided to take first watch. And so Erin and Randy decide that they should get some rest because they are going to be obviously in the next shifts so that you guys can get some sleep. But someone's got to be awake to make sure Kenneth doesn't do some kind of sneaky bullshit or magical fucking cantrip thing that, you know, withers the ropes away, or I don't remember what you tied him up with. I don't think it was zip ties because plastic, I just suppose you'd have to have a really crazy incantation because it lasts forever. Environment, protect it, guys. We're being socially responsible this episode. It's the whole, it connects so well to the, guys, just think about, here's what I'm going to say. Right now, after this episode ends, think about plastic, the environment, and a single tear. You'll get it. You got it, guys. John we had to preview this thing, so
It's because I'm old.
but it's a pretty common reference. All right, if you're 13, you probably don't know it. I'm sorry. We're olds. So you guys are going to sleep, I take it. Is there anything you're doing before you go to sleep, before you're preparing to go to sleep? I apologize. I am stuffy and congested as fuck, audience. I apologize.
Don't worry, we'll edit it a lot in post. When I say we, I mean me, because I'm the only one that does it.
That's right, buddy.
I probably not. The guy's gagged. We're waiting, for Wyatt or someone to show up. I like Aaron's probably kind of besides himself because he knows he probably shouldn't have had the drink, especially after he saw the guy's wrist. But then nothing really happened, and there was the whole vomiting thing. So he's just kind of like,
Sure.
Yeah, and I don't think Randy would do anything special either because he probably thinks that Jack's got it handled. If it were anybody else, Aaron, he'd probably, be a little more like, one eye open or like maybe stay up a little bit longer. But since Jack's there and, he's just gonna, hanging out or whatever, he trusts him to, just in case any funny business happened or whatever, he would sleep pretty easily.
I think Aaron probably moves away a little bit. Because he doesn't know now if he's still under the influence of whatever magical incantation or whatever. So, he probably, not that if the guy wasn't shouting that he wouldn't be able to hear him anyway, but I think he kind of moves over a little bit.
Sure.
Randy lays on top of him because then he's like, well, then he can't move anywhere. He'll never get with that.
Wait, you're laying on top of the hostage?
No, I meant on top of Aaron.
Okay, so that's what I thought. I was like, wait a minute, which one are you laying on?
Yeah,
because I'm not sure if you laid on the hostage. He's in a chair.
I've got my ankle on the one guy on his kneecap.
Can I say no one's ever done that in a movie when they're like, we've got this prisoner that we want to make sure doesn't get away. No one's ever just sat on them and just slept on them. They'll never get away. We just solved it, guys. Just sleep on them.
That's what Jax would do. Jax would just shit.
Yeah.
Shit. Wow. Sit on top of him and just be like,
you
move. I know what's happening.
Yeah. That's God damn it. That's a brilliant. I'm using that if the world ever ends and I need to tie off a hostage. I can only imagine if that's the only way I'll have a hostage tied up. I hope is if
Hey,
the
never
world
say
ends.
never.
But otherwise, I'm guessing it's okay.
Yeah, you've
but
got lots of hostage plans.
yeah, I have a lot of hostage negotiation. We don't negotiate with hostages.
That's right.
That's the rule we came up with in my Thursday D&D group, because one time I accidentally said that instead of we don't negotiate with terrorists, I said we don't negotiate with hostages. And ever since then, we've basically been hell-bent on killing the hostages before the terrorists could do something to them. We don't negotiate with them. It's been terrible. We've murder hoboed too many things, but okay. Guys, tune in to Not That, because guess what? I don't have a podcast about that, of the one thing I play every week consistently. I'm a terrible person. Okay. All right. Now that John's edited all this out, it's been attached to the end of the episode. Okay. So you both decide to get some rest. You fall asleep, and it doesn't seem too long after you've fallen asleep that Erin wakes up in front of a large fire in the woods, sitting on a sort of a carved out log seat, and across from him is a rather imposing black shadowed figure, probably 7 or 8 feet tall, you would gauge by sitting height. Across from you, the flames dance. You do not see a face at the moment per se. You only see sort of a shadowed darkness.
Erin, he sits up a little bit straighter. He's kind of shocked, and he looks around. He's like, Randy? Jack, what the fuck? And he kind of he doesn't get up and back away, but he kind of pushes himself back a little bit. He's completely confused.
Erin.
Fuck. Yes.
I had tried to warn you, but obviously you've ignored the omens.
He starts touching himself like maybe he did get fucking poisoned. He's dying right now.
I assure you are fine.
Who or what are you? Where am I? Where's Jack? Where's Randy?
Don't worry. Your friends are safe, and so are you. For now.
Oh, I don't like that.
I've brought you here because you have been chosen. You are one of an ancestry known to fight evil, unnatural things, and it seems to have found its way to you again.
Oh boy. So does this have to do with my great aunt? I mean, this is that then? Yeah.
Yes, the poems, the tomes, the messages. I sent you the ravens as a portent of dangers to come, and you have decided to walk the path of the heroic, regardless of the warnings, as you have many times before.
I mean, it seemed like the right thing to do. I mean, it sort of snowballed after the first little bit. Yeah.
Once the dark entities have taken notice of you, it's difficult for them to turn their eye to another. You are in their gaze. And so now I fear you must fight for your life and the lives of others as you have before. But you never do this alone.
He waves a hand, and you see Randy sitting on a seat next to you.
You are muted, sir.
Damn.
I was like, oh shit, did I do something? God, dude, we were doing so good.
When Randy, pops into existence, does he look like Randy or does he look like something else?
He currently looks like Randy.
He currently looks
sitting and to Randy, you look like Erin sitting around a fire. Randy, you awaken, quote unquote, into this dream, almost a dream state, and you see Erin to your left on a log carved into a comfortable seat across from this large dark figure to your right across from the fire. You don't feel endangered. You feel relatively calm and safe at the moment.
Okay, good. That's funny because if you wouldn't have said that, I would have charged the being.
No, you for some reason you feel calm and as if this is a natural place.
Okay, just because I can't remember off the top of my head, what was the guy's the helper of Bill and Ted and Bill and Ted 2 that was Death? What was his name?
The helper? Wasn't that just Death?
Oh, I can't remember. No, he had a name. I can't remember what it was.
Did he?
Shit.
Wait, the guy they played chess against, or
Yeah.
I thought
That
it was
wasn't
just
Death. He had a name.
Are you sure he had a name?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, man. I thought it was just Death. I'm looking. It doesn't say.
so much derailing.
William Sadler as Death. It's just Death.
God, I could have sworn they called him something else.
They might
Doesn't
have called him something, but his official character name is Death.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so that just ruined my whole comedic thing. So I would have called him that name, whoever that was. I'd have been like, cool.
Or do you want? Or you could just retcon it. You could be like William Sadler, like the actor.
Yeah,
who played him.
Exactly. Yeah, just like a.
You could do that. John, I'll edit it in. Go for it.
Yeah, just like that Mallrats thing. John Sadler, dick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, basically, he's like, cool. Like he just knows something interesting is happening.
Hey, Randy, you good, man? Like this is.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm not afraid. That's like a weird thing to say. I don't know.
Telling me. So. Okay, I mean that's fair. We'll edit. I'm editing. It's all editing all the time. Yeah, this is I mean this is like a whole weird. I mean, I'm glad you're here because yeah, I mean, and he like looks at the figure.
Yeah. Well, obviously we're here for a reason. I mean, yeah. I mean, what are we doing?
So I think, and he like turns to the spirit that this is Lord Huron.
He stands and is definitely a not that you feel menace.
You're explaining this as his voice.
I forgot. Yes.
Okay, we'll edit that out. Do it again.
Yeah, edit that out.
Awesome.
Okay.
Train direct. Awesome.
As you say that, he stands as an imposing 8-foot tall, relative, like very thick, just being, like you would imagine a Greek god would be. Zeus is this giant presence. He stands and bows.
Erin, he's sitting. I think he drops to his knees in front of him.
Please stand.
Right, yeah. And he pushes himself back up, stands up, kind of like straightens himself up.
Indeed. My name is Lord Huron. I am a protector. I have traveled these lands in help of my people before time was time. Unfortunately, as time has progressed, my powers have diminished. We do not have the following that we once had. So I cannot provide you as much aid as I could before. But I am able to provide you with some help. I believe your friend, who is taking watch over the evil one that you have captured, he is capable physically, and you have skills intellectually, but I feel that perhaps it would benefit all if you were able to improve your abilities to hunt. So I can provide you that.
Thank you. What is it that we have to do?
You simply must do what you have done. You previously were a warrior in another life, and your soul, your consciousness has maintained throughout time. Your previous body that you inhabited was a warrior, a very well-known warrior of his tribe, and he fought an entity, a creature from beyond that was a danger to all at his own peril. And I will be able to transport you to that life, along with your friend, whose soul has been intertwined with you as a friend and partner to destroy these beings for centuries. The two of you can embark on this journey, and in doing so, learn the ways to hunt and to kill these vile entities. It is the best I can do to help you for now. Perhaps I can find a way to help more in the future. But for now, I believe this will at least help you maintain your defenses against evil.
So Erin looks over to Randy and he's like, "Hey man, are you good with this? I mean, I can't ask you to do it if you don't want to."
Well, I'm pretty sure I wasn't like a great hunter like you in a past life or whatever, but I know that I'm here now, and I know that even as far as a year back has gone, we've come so far. So yeah, of course, whatever needs to be done. I mean, obviously it's good versus evil, man. I mean, if we're gonna be on the side of good, let's do this.
Randy, you are wise. I agree, you were not the one whose soul directly was responsible as part of Erin's hunting party previously. But your consciousnesses have been intertwined throughout history to fight these entities. It seems inevitable that regardless of the warnings, you will always choose the path more difficult, the path that requires sacrifice, the path that requires diligence, and the path that requires fortitude against those from beyond. And together, along with your compatriot, I believe you have abilities beyond others. I will use all that I can to help protect you and to warn you and to help develop the skills you need to fight these entities. We have been at odds since before mankind. Unfortunately, many of us have diminished in power, and so we cannot fight directly. But we are able to aid you. And even though I am at my dusk as an entity, I will use what powers I have left to help you. Because my people have become vulnerable. There are very few of us left, and very, very few of the bloodline remain. I will help those of you who remain and those who support you. If you decide, I would like for you to take this journey.
So I mean, Aaron's floored. I mean, he's just like, so this is. I mean, it's all real. I mean, it's all true. I mean, all of it, everything.
Yes, I am a being of power, but significantly smaller power than the entities you fight, those that your hostage intends to summon. I could not do anything against them. They are too strong, too old, too set in this universe, this reality. But they can be held at bay, and I can help you. I will do my best. I will play my part. My role now is but to help those who are left, those who hear my call, those who are part of this heritage, to move forward, to fight against the darkness. I will use all that I have to assist you. This is all much to take in, I agree. But do not fear. There are other forces on your side, and you have capabilities beyond what you would expect, including you, Randy. You all have your expertise. You are special. You have been fighting this fight for lifetimes, over lifetimes, over lifetimes.
So oh, go ahead. All right. Aaron steps up to Randy and he kind of like puts his hands on his shoulders and he like puts his forehead on his forehead. He says, brothers for lifetimes.
And then Randy just can't think of anything better to say because everything that's been said is like way better than anything he would ever say. So he basically just holds him tight and kind of shakes his head like, yeah, let's do this.
All right, so he turns back to Lord Huron and he says, we accept.
Then it is done. The binding is performed, and you have accepted your destiny. I will do what I can to aid you in your journeys. It will not be easy, but you must persist in the face of all dangers. It will only get worse from here, but I hope I can make things somewhat easier. I hope I can help you develop what you need to combat the forces that may take the light from this world. And so, you must take this journey. It may feel disorienting when you are in your previous consciousness, but Do not fear. You will acclimate quickly enough. Are you ready for this journey?
We will do what we must to protect those who cannot protect themselves.
Then remember, this fight will be difficult, but this was a significant moment in your destiny, destroying entities from the darkness.
Aaron just nods.
He waves his hand, and you are suddenly shifted into a body. You are standing in what looks to be a primitive village of teepees and fire. You're somewhat disoriented, but you feel that to you have just woken up and it is dawn, not dusk. You feel it's early in the morning. In front, you are, when you look down, you are a very, very fit man in hide clothing. You have a knife that looks like a well-made metal knife. You have what you believe is, some a bow and arrows attached to you. Your skin is likely more is slightly darker than your current body, you would imagine, has. Beside you is a person you both recognize as Randy in your head, but visually is not him, obviously. He looks like a Native American warrior. Both of you, if Randy is looking at Erin, are definitely painted in the traditional sort of war paint and look as if they are prepared for a fight. Ahead, in front of you is a very distinguished adorned individual with a large sort of ornate headdress. And he approaches you. I do not believe you should intercede in what is happening. We should just leave nature to what it needs.
His eyes flick over to Randy, and he says, "This is not a creature that is natural. This is a creature that preys on the weak and those who cannot defend themselves. This cannot stand."
I know that it is difficult to let such things lie, but we must. It is dangerous, far too dangerous for us few mortals to intercede in these activities. Let our native spirits, let Lord Huron, let those who protect us extinguish these evils from the world. If we fight them, then they will come back tenfold.
The spirits help us because we help ourselves. We believe in them, and they they help to keep the crops green and the animals healthy. But we have to protect ourselves from things such as these. Lord Huron himself will protect us. The spirits, the cousins, they are all on our side.
I am no shaman, and ours was killed some time ago. I agree. I cannot stop you. It is your decision. It is your right as a warrior to eliminate this threat. We have only had a few taken in this calamity. I believe we should be safe. There are others. There is a village to the west. Surely they will be taken. They are much easier prey than we are. They're weak. They don't know about these lands. We can move on. We can take our place elsewhere. There's no need to fight this. But I cannot stop you. I will tell you, we may not be here when you return. We may have moved on. We can take lands elsewhere. We can move. The white man has said we can settle south of here, and perhaps we should do that and just move to a safer area. I think must. If you choose to continue the fight, that's your decision. You may find us when you return, although I don't believe you will.
When he says the white man, Aaron spits on the ground. And he says, we are no better than the creature that hunts us if we allow it to prey on others. People who, as you say, don't understand these lands, don't know this area. We have a duty and a right, an obligation to end this misery so that what has befallen us doesn't befall anyone else.
You are an honorable man. You take your obligation as a warrior, as a protector seriously. And I wish you the best of luck, but I must do what is best for our tribe and for our peoples. We will move. Should you succeed, you may find us south of here in a new land. I will mark it on this map provided by the explorers who are looking to settle us elsewhere. Be careful, though. These creatures, there are stories of, I'm sure you know, the Wendigo, cannibalistic, unstoppable, powerful creatures who obtain the power of those it consumes. It's dangerous. You will not survive this fight. We should leave. Leave it to the white man. Let them have their armies and their powder guns. Let them destroy it if they even can.
They have no care for this land. They have no care for us. Well, there might be certain justice in allowing a creature such as that to deal with them as we cannot. It's still an abomination, a lost soul, someone who's been tainted that must be put down in our own ways.
I respect your decision. You are a great warrior, and you have protected our peoples for many years. I wish you the best of luck and good fortune. I hope to see you when you return.
Thank you. When you go south, just be wary. If it doesn't seem right, continue moving, and we will try to find you.
I will do my best, as I have, to protect our peoples for as long as I can remember. I will leave signs, I will leave marks on the trees, as we have all learned. Find us, and we will welcome you. But you must make sure this evil doesn't follow. Make sure it has been destroyed before you return. I trust that you will do us at least that gratitude.
Shall be done.
He bows and he begins sort of yelling at people and directing them to start packing things up.
All right, and he just turns to look at Randy and where the Randy facsimile, and he says,
For the rest of the thing, we'll just do Randy and Erin. But yes, yeah.
He says, "Are you with me, brother?"
Of course. I mean, when there is no one else to handle the fight, we shall handle it ourselves.
We must take time to make preparations before we go. Read the signs and make the correct offerings.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So I think they probably head off to. If they're that close, I think they probably have like wigwams together.
Yep.
Or close to or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's all within a small area, yes, of that particular village, yes.
So I think we probably head over there and start to like make the, whatever the proper offerings would be. The shaman is gone, but I assume like before a hunt, he leads them in some sort of ritual or whatever.
Yeah.
So they do that with intention, even if it's not 100% accurate.
Sure.
And, do the paint and the whole 9 yards.
As you complete your rituals, a crow lands on a nearby branch, caws loudly for you to see. Looks as if it nods, bows, kind of the bird, and then flies away.
Yeah, Erin nods in return as an acknowledgement of, this is probably going to be fucked up.
Yeah. So, you have essentially what you would have as as gear would be standard sort of. There are some dried food rations, obviously, a water skin for water, bows, arrows, a knife.
I assume we're on foot, probably.
Yes, you were on foot. And as far as you know, as the chieftain had explained, threat seems to be from the west. There is a small settlement of pioneers to the west that you know of, that doing the typical trapping, fur trading type deal in the winter. And so that's who he was likely referring to as sort of a distraction / bait.
Yeah.
Bait, but distraction, I guess, like an easier target for anything that may or may not be stalking you.
So I changed my history to art history. Randy, do you have history or occult? Like, I'm wondering if we could make a roll, because like I know kind of some stuff, a little bit, sort of, but I want to make an in-game roll to like what would we know specifically about.
Sure.
Or actually, I guess if you have it, you don't even have to roll, right? I mean,
yeah. You and roll, you would just.
Yeah, I have history and occult studies.
Okay. Do you? So.
I'd spend the point in occult.
It would be occult studies, and it would depend on. I don't know how many points you have, but if you spend a point, you get more information. If you don't, you get information, but not quite as direct.
Yeah. I'll spend a point. Why not? I mean, we're in the thick of something very heavy, so we might as well spend our points.
Wendigo are corrupted souls of a human being who has eaten human flesh. So they are cannibals, but more than that, they are essentially an they have an insatiable hunger for live human prey. And the more humans they consume or kill and consume, they essentially absorb their power. So if you would starve them over a long period of time, they would become weaker. But so long as they have human prey, they gain additional powers. They are exceptionally strong. They are exceptionally fast. They sometimes you will see them actually with the skull of an animal worn on their head as a totem, almost. Usually a cow or an elk or something with antlers that are like sort of menacing with a long face. And essentially they will stalk humans relentlessly, killing them literally and like to no end. They will never stop. They will continually kill and absorb the powers of more and more people until they are stronger, faster, better, or killed. They are not. What you do know is they are not resistant to normal means of killing. They are still who they are. So they may be stronger, but they are not, for instance, magically or spiritually or cosmically resistant to, say, physical damage. They may be able to absorb more damage. They may be able to be wounded more grievously and still continue to fight than others, but they are still physical beings in a physical body. And so their weakness is really, what a weakness of any human being would be. It's just they are more or less powerful than a standard human being, depending on their ability to feed.
Okay, so I guess maybe we're having this discussion as we're getting ready to actually head out.
Sure.
Now, are we plains bordering on woodlands then? If there's trapping and all that kind of stuff, we're not wide open plains, right?
Yeah, there's wood. You're in the north. You're northern territory near the Great Lakes, so it's woods, deciduous forests. Let's say late fall.
Okay. So there's probably snow up there then.
In late fall, there could be. It depends on if you want there to be. There could be. Sure.
I'm just. Yeah.
I don't know if there. I would say no offhand, but it could
be. Okay. Maybe up in the mountains. There's.
Sure. If it's really high, yeah.
Okay. Fair. All right. So Erin says to Randy as they start trudging out, they check all their shit, make sure they have all their supplies. He says, "How do you feel about heading over to the white settlement and trying to explain to them that they need to keep their people inside? If we can starve this creature, we may be able to get an upper hand on it."
Randy thinks for a minute and just kind of thinks history would tell me that I don't know if that would be a good idea. Just because, I don't know if they're well enough to trust anybody that they don't know through, any contact through other tribes and stuff like that. If we just come in there just announcing ourselves and being everybody needs to get inside and be safe, because this thing is coming, and it might
Well, I
seem to
wouldn't-
them like it's a trick or something.
Well, I wouldn't tell them that. Well, maybe let's back up then. So does our tribe have any interaction with the settlement? Is there any sort of trade going on? Have we?
Not directly. I would say you are basically just if as if any Native American showed up randomly. So not friendly or hostile per se.
Mhm.
Sort of neutral. I mean, we're not in like
Yeah, they wouldn't be like they wouldn't. So I guess it's up to whether theoretically it's up to whether they would recognize your particular tribe, but so you don't know. You don't know if they would necessarily see you as hostile. If some tribe has attacked them, perhaps they would see you as hostile because they may or may not recognize you as the same. Or if they had good trade relations, maybe they would be have a preference for your for you arriving. But you're not sure. Your particular tribe has not interacted with this settlement. It's relatively new, so you do not know, from your standpoint, what that relationship is.
Okay. So then what Randy's saying makes sense then.
Mhm.
It could, or you could say, but they may see us as totally fine.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can feel it out. We can just see how they perceive us, and if it doesn't turn out friendly, then we do what we can. But I feel like we have to be careful because we could stir a pot that could be detriment for us. We're already fighting some powerful foes. To have other people against us, even if it is indirectly not involving what we've done, but with their past prejudices, or with maybe them just being leery, we have to be careful there.
I agree. I don't believe that we should tell them any more than they need to know. But perhaps we can tell them that we've seen great packs of wolves to keep
That's
their
what I was
people
thinking.
behind the
Yeah.
gates, behind in their settlement at night, and for their
Mhm.
their trappers to go out in pairs.
Mhm.
And maybe we can just sort of set up in the area around where their settlement is. If it's feeding in this area,
Mhm.
then perhaps if we can starve it at least for a few days, they may not listen. Just makes our job harder.
Yeah. I'm just worried about our safety. As sad as that sounds at the moment, of course, I care for their safety. I just don't want to put us in any more danger than we already are.
Agreed.
Okay. So the plan is to go to the settlement.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they
Yeah.
would be looking for signs along the way, for for
Sure.
tracks in the woods. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get there, so they would forage berries. They would do the things that native peoples would do when traveling greater distances to
Sure. Let's say, so I'm going to actually I know this is not canon for the system, but I think I'll do outdoor survival as a role. Not as a whether you learn something or not, but how off the scent you are or are not navigating to the colony since you have not been there. As well as noticing any additional signs of something being disturbed.
All right. So can we both make that roll then?
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think we're there yet. I'm just gonna make a straight die roll.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I got a 3. I suck.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll spend one just because I'm interested to see where we'll head. I don't want to get off the track too much.
Yep, sure.
Oh, good lord! That's 2 with a spend.
He said this way, right? It's over here somewhere.
Yeah. You guys are
See
arguing
this
a little
dice
bit.
right here? See this right here? Goodbye. All right, go on.
You guys are going. You don't. So you feel like something in you is saying maybe you're going the wrong way, but as your consciousness, you think, no, I think we got this. I think we're going the right way. But it takes you off a little bit, and so it takes you a little longer to get to the settlement than you thought you would. So you lose, I'm going to say, 2 health because it's cold. You've run out of food at this point, and that's when you see the settlement on the horizon.
All right.
By the way, this is a fun one. I'm liking this adventure. I didn't know how this would go, but I'm already loving it.
You're already taking our health.
No, I think I didn't know if I would have enough. Honestly, I didn't know if I'd have enough stuff to fill it out. But now I'm like, ooh, I think this could work really. I have a couple ideas, so I'm like, I think this is going to work really well. I like it as a really interesting side adventure that also could, they'll provide you some benefit depending on how well you do. That's the thing. I can alter it based on how well you do.
Right. All right. So as we get to within, I guess maybe like 100 yards of the place.
Mm-hmm.
This is all right. We just, we tell them the bare minimum, sort of take stock and see what we can see and try to find the person who's in charge. I assume Randy assents since he's muted.
I'll assume that's an agreement.
I'm basically following your lead because I feel like you are. I mean, the whole reason we're here is because of you and your past lives. So I'm basically merely a husk of myself helping you out into this person that is way better, braver, and way better of a person probably than I am.
But that was the point. Your soul, over time, not in this instance, may not have been particularly with him, but over time, the two of you have crossed paths and helped each other fight evil. So you are like,
you're badass, Randy.
Yeah. Randy has used his skill set to fight evil throughout time. And it happens to have crossed. So yes, you are. It's not just a side thing. You are actually intertwined to a degree.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll say this. I'll say that my character is basically kind of the bigger silent type. He's basically just gonna, he knows exactly what he has to do. He speaks minimally, totally the opposite of Randy, kind of, where he's just kind of like, I don't need to say all of these words to, just to make myself, feel like I'm doing something, kind of buffing myself up through my words, because that's what I'm so used to, where now it's just, I will follow Erin's, character or whatever, and, just help where I can and not waste time with words as I'm doing right now. So there you go.
Okay. So you're speaking. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. It's
a strong silence.
You're speaking softly, but carrying a big stick.
That's right.
In your pants. What? Ladies. Don't contact him. He's married. Don't do it. We just saw his kid. He's adorable. Don't do it. You could say you love him though, because he's adorable.
That's true.
You can say you love. It's like he could be like, I get it, but I'm with my wife. Don't worry about it. So like, you can bolster his ego. Just look, everybody, tell Kurt that he's super adorable and that you all love him and that you love Randy. Just send him an email. It's great.
There you go. There you go. That'd be perfect.
You don't need to roll anything from notice. Just notice in general, the village does seem quiet. It's about midday. You don't see much activity at, say, 100 yards.
Okay.
Now, from that activity, so you said it's midday?
Yeah. It's somewhat...
And there's nothing going on?
Yeah, you literally see 0 people, moving around outside at 100 yards.
Okay.
So, there's nobody...
So,
go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going to, before you do that, before you ask that question, I'm basically going to put my hand on your shoulder and just go, just kind of do a once over around, something should be happening right now.
He nods. His hand on the knife kind of tightens on the knife a little bit. He looks specifically to the is there a palisades? I'm assuming there's a log stockade around.
There isn't. There's a sort of the crossed log fencing, but not like a palisade. No, it's more of a fairly rudimentary defense system. Yeah,
they haven't gotten that far yet.
No, yeah, there's no. It's not like a trading post. It's more like a pioneer frontier village where there's the cross-hatched X fencing along the perimeter, but you can see through it. It's not like a full log, straight up, 8-foot palisade or anything.
Okay. Is there any smoke from chimneys or anything like that we can see?
You see no smoke.
Well, he's. I'm gonna need him, so I guess we'll just wait a minute.
Okay.
All right.
I can get some more water.
Yeah, go get some more water. I'll just sit here.
Okay. Just be lonely.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
I'll mute this just in case.
All right. So, Kurt's got a train, and he's going to pee, and Neil's going to get some water. So you're stuck with me, just kind of chilling. I bet everybody in the village has probably been slaughtered. It certainly seems that way. Middays should be a bunch of activity. So this looks like it's really bad. So, yeah, there's that. Which means the Wendigo is awfully full. Well, I guess it doesn't really get full per se, but yeah, it's feasted fairly well, I think. So that's fun times. It's a good thing we got to boost a bunch of our stats. Oh, here comes Kurt. We'll be able to pick this up again here. We don't need Neil. It'd be fine without him. We'll just make shit up. It'll be fine.
So while we're waiting for him, if you can hear the roar and screeching of the train that's by our house, I'm like, oh my God, seriously, the worst time for that to happen.
Yeah, well, when we play with Todd, half the time we get fucking the ice cream man. We've had to stop the show because he parked outside the house and was there for 10 fucking minutes.
That's hilarious. Did Todd go out and get some cherry berry or something like that?
He did not. But one time that happened, he started singing a song.
I would pay $1 million to see Todd licking a bomb pop while he's trying to do an RP. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
God.
So just so we know, I know this is gonna break, so this is gonna get edited out. What, how long do we want this to potentially go? Because it's gonna take a little. Even a fight, if I initiated it, this second's gonna take a little time. So the question is, what is our hard stop? Are we going to stop before a major thing or what?
It's up to you guys, right? So it's earliest for me. So
it's Memorial Day for me, so I don't give a fuck because I have literally, this is my calendar for tomorrow. 0 other
Nice.
than like mow the lawn. That's all I got.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I think it's 11 would probably be the so about an hour from now would probably be my hard stop. Unfortunately, we were having such a great day today that I forgot we were doing this, and then my wife was like, "What in the fuck, dude? We're having such."
I even sent
I'm
reminder.
so sorry, I forgot.
But I feel bad. You could have just said no. We could have done another
We've been
thing.
putting it off.
Yeah, but like I feel bad about your wife being like, "Oh, we were having a great day, and now you fucked it up with this dumb bullshit." That
It's
no
okay.
one's
Tomorrow-
listening to live. Is anyone live, John?
No.
Aw,
Single tier.
that's okay.
You know what?
Someone will listen to this.
Here's
eventually.
the thing, and you should put this at the end. This is for Patreon subscribers. So, I'm proudest of this game. I think
love
this
this
is
game.
I think this is the
Me too.
best game I've ever run.
Rogue Trader's
I
good
think-
too.
Road Trader's fine. Look, it's good. It's good, but it's different. But this game, I feel like
Layers
I've
upon
done-
layers.
I've done so many things I've wanted to do with this game. So many things. And so far, so much of this game has been based on random individual songs that I've listened to over
Nice.
time, which is weird. And I've put in weird little like Easter eggs here and there that John knows some of now because he listens to that band now. But this game is like the best game I've run. I love this
Nice.
fucking game.
I can't wait to go back and listen to New Kids on the Block and then go back and watch this again.
I mean,
because
I
I
have-
knew there were so many of those.
I will tell you. So I haven't told everyone. Not all of them are based on individual songs. The current, not this, but the current story arc is based on a song that John, I guarantee, has not listened to because it's not Lord Huron. Lord Huron is a band, and they
nice.
are the greatest band of all time. And some of the things I had in poems in the past for Aaron's character was from Lord Huron lyrics because they have a very
Eclectic.
they have a very someone has been given a mission to fight otherworldly evils type vibe to some of their songs, which is weird and interesting. But yeah, we looked through the whole the set list, by the way, of they played same set list for you guys. We looked. There's a thing online you can look. But anyway, Lord Huron, greatest band.
Ooh, they're gonna be in Minneapolis the day before my birthday. Oh,
Really?
Who knows? Maybe that'll be an early birthday present for
All
me.
I'm saying is it might. This is hard to say. I've been to a lot of shows. I think it's the best show I've ever been to.
Nice.
And that includes a band that I listened to for 10 years and never saw live because they broke up before I started listening to them. Then they had a 10-year anniversary and played in New York. And I drove there from West Virginia. I went to Beth's house in Pennsylvania. Then we went to New York City over Thanksgiving to see a 10-year 2-show only anniversary in New York.
Nice.
That is the equivalent of Lord Huron's 2-hour set. And that was a band who was my favorite band of all time until Lord Huron. So
Nice.
and that I've never seen. And so 2 hours of Lord Huron was just
It was
unbelievable.
amazing.
It was one of the John and I haven't really nerded out about it, but over Skype or Hangouts or whatever. But fuckity fuck.
It was
Holy-
it was an amazing show. I have also been to a shit ton of shows over various musical genres,
Yeah.
and this was one of the best shows I
Right. Right. They were transcendent. They were one of the easily in the top 5 bands who, if you say, hey, I want to listen to that band, you could listen to them live or on the album, and it's the same or better.
Nice.
Live was equal. They were so good. And they play so many instruments. And the fucking bass player playing theremin on the new album song.
Yeah, a fucking digital theremin. What the fuck?
He plays played a theremin during a song, and then he's like fucking playing bass that's not just like do 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 do. He's fucking going on like this guy. The bass player is a fucking phenom. That guy, I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, so that's what the Lord Huron's based on. That's all the poems that I said earlier. Those are Lord Huron lyrics. This current arc that you're taking a break from is a different song, and I will tell you it at the end of the arc, but I don't want to tell you now because it actually will spoil. It would spoil some of the stuff you knew, but there's almost 0% chance you would figure that one out. But I will let you guys know. So that's the other thing. There's some real cool Easter eggs that I base this shit on. And also Dead Arm just came up in a YouTube video that I watched that I had read the story and someone was narrating creepypastas and the Dead Arm shit came up. And I'm like, what? I thought that was a good idea. So I'm telling you, man, we have a really cool thing going. So we just got to maybe move it faster so that we have more than one monster per 2 years.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, let's go. Let's have a monster.
All right. So I don't know if you heard Kurt as the train came and everything else. So you put your arm on my shoulder, look around, shit's fucked up. He grips his knife. So he turns to you as he sort of like scans, it's a fence and kind of like around, and he says, "No smoke."
So with the settlement, what does the settlement look like as far as like buildings and stuff like that go?
It's sort of rudimentary sort of cabins, like log cabins. Not much else
around it or anything like that.
Yeah, so I was saying there's like so there's not like a palisade, there's not like a like 6 or 8 foot tall like big pole, right? Palisades. It's like the Civil War style like crossed hatched X fence type wooden fences that are just kind of like cross hatched X's, right? So they stop things from coming in necessarily, but they're not like fully on, they're not like fully obscuring or anything.
I'd like to notice to see if there's anything besides human tracks around here, just to see if there's anything out of the ordinary that's around the entrance there.
Okay.
Well, so
wait, how close are you? Because right now you're 100 yards out. Are you approaching? That's the difference.
I guess we get closer.
You're 100 yards away, and there's no one. You like at 100 yards at a football field. You don't see anyone walking around, and you see no smoke from chimneys. That's where you currently are. So the question is, how close are you getting when you want to do like another?
Yeah, I suppose we want to get a little bit closer before we do that, huh?
Yeah, just be careful. Be ready.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't draw a bow because I don't want to get shot from the village.
Okay.
But like,
we don't want to look menacing right away. But maybe we should also not be out in the open, just kind of walking through. We should like follow the trees and kind of try to make as less noise, the least amount of noises that we can.
Yeah, if that's feasible. I mean, is this all open up to where the fence line is?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, there's a clearing to the village. So, like, it's sort of more forest and then a clearing. There's a path, obviously, through the forest to get, like, a road almost, right, that wagons or whatever would take to, coming from, you are on the east side. There's a road going to it from the east after the trees kind of clear. And they've cleared out anything else. So it's relatively open for, easily, I would say, you could probably be 100 yards away in the brush line still. But after that, you're in. And then let's say you've come from east or south-ish. So there's probably 100 yards to it. And then after that, it's more clear and gets kind of plains out to sort of a lake or whatever, way north. But it's not as densely forested in that direction. So you still have to go at least 100 yards to get to it, probably by design.
I think we boldly stroll right up to the like right up to the gate, right? Because if we look, so assuming there's people and we're looking like we're sneaking, we'd probably get shot, right? So we just want to own it and just sort of, I mean, we're warriors, right? I mean, we're just going to walk right up to the gate. I mean, we get stopped before that if you want to check, or if you
Sure.
want to check.
Yeah, if you want to look at anything before, okay, let me put it this way. If you want to take the road to the eastern entrance, you could walk on the path, the road to the settlement. Right now, there's no obstruction, no reason not to. If you want to take that path, if you want to stop at some point and do another thing before you reach the edge of the settlement, let me know.
I mean, I say, like, if we're on the edge of the woods right now in the brush, I say we could look here, right? So, like, if the thing is stalking the people.
Yep, and you see nothing. There's nothing moving. You're 100 yards away, say on the eastern, near the road, off the road, but like near it. You see no movement. You see no smoke from the village.
All right. So do you want to? I feel like a no spend doesn't get us anything other than like, oh, the grass is pushed down.
Like, right? What do you want to know? Like, what? But notice for what? Like, what do you want to? What are you looking for?
Looking for an unusual track. Like, I'm assuming that's what Kurt is looking for, right?
Yeah.
Well, your unspent.
Let's unspend. What do we get?
Unspent occult knowledge. Wendigo have human footprints. They're people. They don't transform. They're still people looking.
But in the late fall, they wouldn't be walking around without shoes. So if we saw human footprints.
Oh, okay, sure.
So a no spend notice check at like sort of at the brush line. So like if I'm stalking someone and I'm hiding in the brush as a monster.
You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, I get it. Sure. Unspent, yeah. There are a lot of they look the same. It looks like one entity that has gone back and forth around this perimeter many times.
And it looks like
human
feet.
Yes. Footprint, not boot print.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So he taps Randy. He says, it looks like it's been here.
Boy. I don't know how do we proceed, do we want
I would assume that it probably does most of its hunting at night.
Mm-hmm.
We should be fairly safe, but I fear that we're already too late to save anyone in this village.
Well, maybe we can find either some survivors that we can help, or maybe we can find out maybe what happened or where it went.
I agree. Should head into the town and see what we can find.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, do you head into the town just straight on the road?
Yeah.
Okay. You head straight on the road. As you approach the village, it is oddly silent. As you get to the fence, which is essentially, not too far really from the first buildings, the first, cabins that are there, you don't see any movement from people or anything. You do see, with an unspent notice check, you see patches of blood in the sort of town square area in front of you. So a little ways down, there would be a couple, sort of an opener area. You see some blood there, and blood splatter on some of the walls of cabins as well.
So Aaron just puts his finger to his lips. He points at his eyes and he points ahead to where the blood is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he, makes like a come here gesture and points like to the right. So kind of like instead of walking into what could obviously be a trap, because Wendigo are probably smart, he wants to go out and around sort of the fence
Okay.
and around the building to see, what else there is, and then see if anybody's laying outside or whatever.
Okay. You go around. At whatever point you decide to kind of make your way inward, more toward the center of town. As you're going, you don't see any bodies.
Okay.
And there's still no movement. You don't see anything moving. And
So
you
no
don't see.
animals either. Then no chickens, no dogs.
Actually, yeah. Well, let's say there is a chicken coop. A couple like throughout, like individual people may have had chicken coops. You hear the clucking of them as you get near. And as they start clucking more, you do hear barking from various cabins.
He looks to Randy and says, "Do you recall? Did the Wendigo eat domestic or it's just human? Correct?"
Yeah, if that's where they get their power from, I would understand why they would want something so minuscule.
Maybe these people knew that something was happening if they brought their animals inside. We should go check to see. Maybe the dogs are protecting survivors.
Could be. I think we should check it out.
We moved to like the closest cabin.
Okay.
That has a dog barking in it.
Sure.
And I guess if you want to make an infiltration or a hiding to kind of like peek through the window to see, like he doesn't want to like open the door and get shot or like stand in front of the window.
Or get bit on by a dog too.
I guess infiltration, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'll spend one. Oh, so that's a 7.
Okay.
Nice.
You look into one of the windows and you see because the chickens seem to be, riled up a little bit, you see a somewhat it's not like weeks emaciated dog, but a sort of emaciated dog that's barking and kind of jumping and pushing against the door of the cabin that you're looking into.
Okay. I don't see any bodies or anything.
No.
At least not at a first glance.
Nope.
Okay. Says, all right, Randy, I'm gonna let there's a dog in. He looks like he hasn't eaten in a week or two. Yeah, a week maybe. I'm gonna let him out. And before he opens up the door, I assume they have like dried, deer meat or whatever.
You actually ran out of that because you got lost.
Well, that's right.
You're out of supplies. Yeah.
Shit, would a dog eat a raw chicken? I guess probably, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they're hungry enough, sure. But like coyotes attack chickens all the time. A dog that's starving could, sure. Fuck. I mean, they'd have to get in the coop at the point of whether they're...
Well, I'm thinking about grabbing a chicken, cutting it open, and giving it to the dog.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that's entire. They would eat it for sure if they were hungry.
I mean, I don't want the dog to get sick, right?
I mean, that's one of those like wolves eat raw meat all the time, right? So like,
I suppose that's true. They probably do feed their own dogs like scraps.
Yeah, it's a different time too. It's not like dogs now.
Yeah. All right.
They're not eating like kibble.
Exactly.
I mean, they're eating like, they're not. I mean, so like, there's not like, so like, let's say, I don't know, conservatively, like 14 cabins. You think you hear 2 dogs, right?
Okay.
It's not like everyone has dogs or whatever. It's
Yeah,
not like today, right? So maybe there's 2 dogs, maybe 5 chicken coops, right? And then it looked like they were, and then there's obviously storage and fields and they had trade and whatever. So that's what you're kind of working with.
All right. So he looks to Randy and he says, let's grab one of those chickens before we let him out. He's famished, I'm sure.
Well, we'll have to be careful too. If we feed him this chicken, we probably don't want to go near him because he'll probably think that we're trying to take it, even if we did give it to him.
Well, we can cut off a big hunk and give it to him. I mean, I don't want to get bit, but having a canine could be beneficial. I mean, to serve as first warning.
Okay, I will.
The thing will come back.
I will follow your lead, but I will be cautious in case.
Okay, so he just goes over to the coop, reaches in,
Okay.
cracks the chicken's neck, dresses it real quick.
So has Aaron done this before?
Has
Ever?
Erin done it? Probably not.
Okay, give me a stability roll.
All right.
That's trust me, my stepmom will not eat chicken because she had to literally cut the head off and dress so many chickens as a kid. She won't eat them now.
My brother-in-law has a problem with that too.
Yeah.
I rolled a 4. I didn't spend any points.
It doesn't disturb you that you're like it. Look, it's got to be done.
Like it's a weird like overlay, right? Like Erin is thinking, "Wow, this is kind of fucked up," but
but your doppelganger, your previous self,
native self,
that's like normal. He dresses wild animals all the time. That's how you have to hunt to live. So but you're connected enough to him that you're not freaked out by it.
So he cuts off a big chunk. He hands the rest of it to Randy. He says, "Cut up the rest," and then he kind of off to the side, sort of opens up the door. I assume the dog comes bounding out.
Yep.
And he holds up the chunk of breast,
and it's like so excited.
He throws it on the porch.
Okay.
In front of it.
Okay. So it's a larger type dog. It's not like a foo-foo type little dog like I have. I don't know. Mine aren't that foo-foo. They were technically rodent dog. They were ratting dogs. So mid-sized dog. It like whines a little bit and then grabs and just like is furiously chewing and eating the meat you put down.
All right. So like as the dog is eating, he kind of steps around and looks now fully into the cabin to see, whether or not anybody's alive, to see if it's been like destroyed, if it's covered in blood.
So you see, you don't see anything in the. Actually, those cabins are probably one room. You look in and it looks like maybe some blood splattered on a bed that had sort of like standard linens or whatever, and it looks like it might have been dragged out a window that was near the bed, and that's all you see is sort of the blood sort of splatter or spatter on sort of the linens or whatever, and then kind of pulled through not the doorway. That's what you can see and it's kind of a one-room cabin.
Okay. I assume we wouldn't know English at all.
It depends on what you. So as Aaron would know it, yes, but yes, you would know English as Aaron. But you also know the Huron, Native American dialect as well.
And we have access to both.
Yes.
Okay. He would then look for like a journal or diary or anything. Like if there's a table,
Okay.
with clothes and shit like that. Because
Okay.
then maybe like, oh, Bill left and he never came back. And then all of a sudden we heard this fucking growling and like maybe Bill got left in the fucking woods somewhere.
Sure. Yeah. You find a diary, though it does say, it says several people have gone missing. They originally thought that perhaps they were killed by the natives, but hunters found a body. They found a creature eating the body of, and they name, Joseph Wyland, who was a local farmer. They describe it as a person, but not a person, who had looked like he was eating the farmer, and when the hunters fired, they unfortunately missed, and the creature / person ran away. And then they said, everyone in the village is afraid. And as a couple days later, more people have gone missing, and everyone has decided, is trying to decide whether we should, move, eastward to, the nearest settlement for protection. But no one wants to give up their home.
Okay. He brings it out to show Randy, who presumably is still feeding the dog with the other bits of it.
Yeah, I mean, as you feed it, it'll keep eating. Yeah.
All right. He says, I found this. He flicks to the date, a week ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Before you do that, I would actually be trying to see if I know the dog was like excited to see what was going on, and even though I was kind of wary about it, I would try to feed him the other part, and also at the same time try to make friends with it. Try to pet it and just kind of gauge its attitude, if it is hostile or if it doesn't care. It's just a good-natured dog or whatever. I don't know.
I would say outdoor survival, it is no spend. It's like, hey, you're fine. If you want to spend a point, it's like friendly. You're like, hey, it's okay. Like, I'm your friend. And it's like friendly, like, oh, thank you for helping me. If you want to spend a point in outdoor survival.
I will do that, actually. It'd be nice to have a companion.
So after it's done eating, and Erin comes back out the door, it's finished eating, and you've kind of kneeled down, and it's in front of you and kind of whining and like moving closer to you and getting like sort of like the close, like protection type mode. So it definitely seems, grateful, as much as a dog seems grateful for what you did. But it does seem like it's definitely like amicable toward you.
Okay. Sounds good. So as Aaron comes up, he basically gives him a smile, like, like, we're good, that kind of thing. So, and then he takes the book or the journal.
Yeah. So he kind of like opens it up to like, the week previous. and like
Mhm.
hands it to him with his thumb on it and says, "Yeah, looks like a couple of people went missing. They actually saw the creature and thought about leaving here,
Wow.
but no one wanted to leave."
No one listened. Well, that's tough to leave the place that you've known all your life. It's not an easy thing to do, even in the direst of needs or whatever. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Should we see if we can find anyone else, or should we try to follow the tracks and try to find this beast?
Let's get that other dog first.
Okay.
We don't want to leave it here to suffer. He would snatch another chicken and do the same thing.
Okay. As you go to the other house, and I assume you open the door like you did before and offered up the chicken, the dog backs up growling, and does not take the meat. It backs up toward. It looks like there's another room to this particular cabin, like another door, like a storage, pantry or a something. And it starts growling.
He looks to Randy and, kind of shrugs.
Instead of saying something, Randy does the whole kind of eyes pointing to that pantry, like I'm trying to do like a code, not saying anything out loud. Like it's obviously protecting something.
Yeah. So he he nods and then he kind of like holds his hands like a baby. Not that there would be a baby in there necessarily, but like a small person maybe is in the closet. Yeah. And he takes the hunk of meat and he throws it into the dog to try to like settle it somewhat, because it looks as emaciated as the other one, right?
Yeah. Maybe a little less, but it like looks and it's kind of like hesitant, and then it kind of like starts eating hesitantly.
Okay, so he just kind of like squats down to not be as imposing.
Okay.
And lets it eat. When it finishes that piece, he'd like hold his hand up to Randy for like another piece. And then instead of throwing it towards the dog, he'd hold it.
Okay.
And kind of give it a wiggle and like, whatever noise you make for a dog in the 1800s,
Yeah. It slowly kind of crouches, a little bit suspect, and comes up and starts eating.
Okay. As it like grabs it, he just kind of like goes to like rub its head to be like, yeah, this is good, right? Like,
okay. You can either do an unchecked survival roll or spend an outdoor survival point for that to work.
I'll make the unspend point. I think they're going to be really useful as we're tracking this thing through the forest.
Sure,
well, before he does that, like he sees that he's going to go pet him. He basically kind of puts a hand on Aaron first and shows him to go from the back to the front instead of going from the front to the back, because a lot of dogs see that as you're just going for them, and they will usually react negatively that way. So
okay, I'll give him a +1 for that. Sure.
All right. Oh, I rolled a 6. It's a 7.
Okay. It sits and starts whining a bit. It starts eating, but like it eats and then it like whines and it like goes in a circle and then goes and like paws at the door of the pantry.
Okay. I mean, like he would talk to it, I guess, like, you're doing a good job. Like, I don't know, like how, it's hard to judge how they would deal with like animals at work.
Yeah, whatever
things.
Yeah. I mean,
but
you
like,
do know like animals are, they're not like family, but they are they are part of your you're not like you're nothing. You
they
are
kick
helpful.
it and walk over to
Yeah, like they are work animals. Yeah, they're like horses, right? You don't like just be like, "Fuck you, horse."
Right.
Yeah.
So like he kind of like pets it, and he's like, you did a good job, blah blah blah, whatever, and like, he stands and he looks down at the dog. He looks over to Randy and like, kind of gives a half shrug, takes a step towards the door to see if the dog is like going to attack, or if
It seems fine.
It seems fine. Okay.
Yep,
So
seems
he will walk over and open up the door.
You open up the door and you see sort of a normal pantry with jars of canned items that are sort of standard for the time, dried items, that sort of thing. As you look, you see sort of a sack. There's like sacks of flour and potatoes and that sort of thing on the floor. You see a very small pair of shoes and hear a faint crying sort of sound as you open the door.
Fuck. So he just, he crouches down, he reaches in, scoops up ostensibly a baby in the closet.
Not like baby, like a 4-year-old, 5-year-old type, like size shoe, like sitting behind a thing.
Yeah.
So
if he looks bigger, then I guess
yeah.
Fuck. Again, does this doppelganger have access to speak English, or am I thinking in English and it comes out as
you speak English.
Okay.
You can speak English.
All right. So it probably still sounds weird, right? Because it's not like that.
Probably because you're
older style of English.
Yeah.
He says, "Hey, little guy, how are you doing in there? Where's your mom and dad?"
And you see a face pop out from behind. I'm not a guy. I'm a girl.
Oh, my apologies. And he like puts his hand on his chest and he like gives her a little bow.
Who are you? Where's my mommy and daddy? They said they'd be back. They said to wait here.
I don't know. You don't know where they went?
They said to wait here. They said that there was a problem. They said don't worry and just wait here until they came back. And they said stay here and don't do anything. And that they said that Rover would protect me. They said he'd protect me and they would take care of it.
Rover did a really good job and he kept you safe. He looks up to Randy like, fuck are we supposed to do now?
What are you doing in my house? Get out of my house. Who are you?
We're friends with your mom and dad, and they told us to cut you.
I never saw you before. You're not friends of theirs. The only friends they have Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith and Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Johnson and Mr. McDonald and Mrs. McDonald. That's it. That's the friends. That's their friends. You're not their friends. You look like those. They look like the bad men that come and steal us in the night and take our hairs.
No.
They said you take our hairs. They said they'll cut our hairs off. They cut our heads off, but not like our head, but like our hairs.
So
I like my hair. It's pretty.
Well, it's very pretty. It's very pretty. Erin wants to. I would like to spend a point of reassurance.
Okay.
To kind of like settle her down and be like, no, those are bad people. You're right, but that's not where we come from. We're here to help.
So you're like, you're good people.
Yeah. Yes. We're here to help. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll come out, but you gotta promise you're good people.
He puts his hand on his heart and says, I promise.
Okay, I'm coming out. Rover, are you there? And the dog barks. Okay, I'm coming. She kind of comes out. She's probably 4 years old, 5 years old, in sort of a sort of standard dress. And she kind of walks out. I assume you back up a bit.
Mhm.
She comes out and says, "Where's my mommy and daddy?"
I'm not sure. They wanted us to come and check on you. It seems like a lot of the people or they left. You don't know where they went?
They didn't say. They didn't tell me, but I heard them talking one night. They thought I was asleep, and I wasn't. And I heard them say that. I heard them say that. I don't know. I shouldn't say it. It's probably bad. I think they told me that I shouldn't talk about gossip.
It's okay. We need to know where everybody went, and if you know, then that's not gossip. You're helping us out, just like we're trying to help you.
Okay. So, they said that they said, I don't know what they meant, but they said that Reverend Joachim had taken them. That some of the people went with the Reverend and out in the woods, and they didn't come back. And I don't know what they were talking about because we go to church on Sundays, but we always come back.
He flicks his eyes over to Randy and kind of like, chin up, like in my head, go like check the church. Like maybe the Reverend is the key, so maybe there's like a journal or weird carvings in the back where people don't go, or like bones or whatever.
Yeah. So when we were walking through this place, did we see a church at all?
Yeah. There was a there's a building with a cross on the top, a chapel. It's not like a church, right? It's still, it's wood and
Frontier
small. So it's a chapel, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Randy gives Erin a look like, what do we do with this kid while we try to figure out what's going on?
He just shrugs.
I gotta. What am I gonna eat? I've been eating things in there, but like, what am I gonna eat? I'm hungry.
Let's see what we can find.
And they said that I should go potty wherever I have to, and don't leave. I don't. So I try to hold it as much as I could. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure you did a good job.
I don't know.
Spot on 4-year-old, by the way. Spot on.
How about this? How about I can't remember. Does a 4-year-old change themselves? I don't remember. God, that was
no, not really.
Not
sometimes
really.
they can go potty pretty good, but sometimes you gotta help.
Oh, that's not a great situation. Ooh. So do you need to get washed up then?
I don't know. You tell? I don't know. My mommy and daddy say when I should. I don't know. It's been a while, but I don't like to, so I guess not.
Oh, all right. Oh, well, that's fine. That's good for now. Okay.
But my clothes are pretty dirty, and they're not that dirty, but like they were dirty. That it was bad in there. I went in to the oatmeal. I don't like oatmeal, so I went in the oatmeal. Because then I don't have to eat it, because they wouldn't make me eat that oatmeal then, so I didn't have to.
All right, so I'm gonna stroll up as nicely as I can and just crouch down and just take a quick sniff to make sure that it isn't something that we have to. Maybe we can just put off for now.
For reality's sake, you probably need to take care of it. Like it probably helped to take care of it. But is it like life-threateningly bad? No. But for like any regular standard, probably.
Okay. Well, she's just gonna have to be dirty for now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure they probably change their own kids at home or whatever, like, but I don't know that the kid would allow, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, they're 4-year-olds, so I mean, they're pretty stupid if you have a lollipop. I'm not saying that, viewers, I'm just saying, like, 4-year-olds are pretty terrible at not getting abducted, so like you gotta watch them. But also their parents haven't been murdered by a supernatural cannibal, so
that's true.
You know, so it's a little different, right? So like it's a toss up. It's a toss up. I'm not advocating like please don't abduct 4-year-olds and do weird stuff to them. Don't do it. It's bad. That's terrible. But I'm saying 4-year-olds are probably bad at
good PSA, Neil.
PSA, don't be a pedophile.
Can we dig you out of this grave?
Here's a dig me out. Don't be a pedophile.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. I'm not advocating it. Please don't do it.
We definitely know that's bad. Yep.
It's bad. This podcast universally disagrees with pedophilia. Don't do it. Don't watch it. Don't be involved. Just don't do it.
Don't be a part of it. Yep. Let's stop talking about it.
John, let's
cut
it. John.
So shut up, Neil. So is there anything that now we just killed 2 chickens to feed 2 dogs?
Sure.
And we have a human being now. So is there anything else that sounds like it's, that was it for chickens?
Oh, there's a lot of chickens. There's a lot. I mean, there's like 30 chickens.
Okay.
Well,
so basically,
now.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So basically, I've signaled to John that
a lot of eggs, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Well, then I'll say this. I'll be like, I'll say, you have 2 options: eggs, chicken.
Eggs will probably be easier.
I'm not asking you.
No, I'm saying we should probably do eggs.
I'm not asking you.
At this point, the 4-year-old has started just like jumping around and playing and talking to the dog and be like, Rover, I love you. Oh, yes, I love you. And she's just hugging.
Cool. So then so basically he just looks at Erin and goes, eggs it is, and then walks out and grabs some eggs.
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, grab some eggs, cook some eggs.
I assume we probably eat too, because maybe it's been a little while then since it took us an extra day.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't eaten for like since a day ago, at least a day ago, like 24 hours or more.
Yeah.
Okay, so he grabs a bunch of eggs.
Okay. Right. And she's like, "This is great. I love the eggs are so good. I love eggs." And she's like feeding some to Rover. I love Rover. He loves eggs.
Makes his coat nice and shiny.
Yeah, he's the best. I love this. This dog is my best friend.
So as she's sort of meandering on and off topic as we're eating, he's like, should probably check out the church. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, but what do we do with the girl?
She's probably safe now while the sun is up. She can come with us. There's blood outside. Fuck.
Yeah, not a good idea. I mean, there's blood in here too, but I mean, maybe we should clean that up first.
He just like flips the comforter over.
I mean, so far she doesn't seem to realize any of that. Sure, like she's not pointed that out or anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I guess at some point, then, like, if he mentions it, then, like, I guess we like.
Yeah,
sort
like
of
if you want to
flip
like
that
flip,
blanket
yeah,
over.
like there's like a mattress or a blanket. Or, yeah, you can flip it over
Yeah.
if you want.
Okay. So should we just? I don't think taking her with us is a good idea.
Do you want to go and investigate the church? I'll stay with the kid for now. Then
Sure.
take the other dog with you, just to be sure.
Okay. And then basically I think they would know that if trouble were to arise, he would basically do a trying to like a signal, a sound that he'd be able to make, a high pitched noise that would alert him that
Like this.
trouble. Exactly.
That
I assume you have like we use some sort of like hawk scree or some
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
like bird noise that we can use when
That's
we're
right.
hunting to like coordinate.
Yeah.
you have to decide
be
what
like-
it is.
I'll be like, this wind needs to go. Yeah.
Aw.
Sorry, that's
Okay.
the worst.
If
I'm
that's what you
okay.
decide to do, that's what it is.
Yeah,
now,
let's
though.
do
Yeah,
like
okay. Nope, you got to do it. That's what it is. It's just
okay,
like,
sounds good.
this window needs to go.
Nice.
And you have to yell, yeah.
Yeah, so like the Indian part of us is like, what in the fuck is going on here? Yeah, so let's just say it's like a high.
American or First People. I'm okay.
Let's
with
just
First
say
People.
it's like a hawk screech, basically.
Okay, sure. I wish I could make that. Anyway, I'll say you can do it. Because your outdoor survival is so good, you can definitely do it.
That's right. I'd be part of a lot of metal bands things at the beginning and end. So basically, I'm gonna start heading to the church.
Okay. Randy heads to the church as Erin stays behind to take care of the little girl and the dog. And you take the other dog with you, right?
I do.
Not Rover, yeah.
Yep, the other one.
Yeah. And I would have fed him in between that too, just so he has a little more energy too.
Okay. It's a her, the other one.
A her, sorry.
I don't know but that's up to you because you don't know her name because she's not there. Like her owner's not there. So you don't know. You go to the church and you go inside and it looks fairly well maintained. Nothing crazy has happened. There is a small rectory on the side past the chapel area, the pulpit area. So from what you can see, there is a Bible, a relatively standard Bible on the pulpit, and then hymnals kind of peppered throughout pews, but that's all. There's no blood or anything that you can see.
Okay. Is there? I would probably use a point to find out. Well, there's probably gonna be some living quarters somewhere off to the side, I'm guessing.
They're beside on the pulpit, there's like church, pews, pulpit, and then over here there's like a rectory door. There's a door that you assume is rectory, maybe living quarters.
Yeah. Does it say rectory above it? Now I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna look around and see. I'm gonna go see. Yeah, just go in there and see if I can see anything. Again, just like in that other place, like see if there's any journals or any kind of some kind of record of what the pastor's been doing or whatever.
Okay, give me a stability check.
Okay, great. So I can spend points, right, for that?
You can't.
I can't.
You can,
but you lose those
I can.
regardless.
You lose those no matter what if you succeed or fail.
I love in the group chat. John says, "Oh no." Okay. Well, I'm gonna lose stability probably anyway. So I'll use a point.
Okay, sure.
That is a 4.
Okay, so you just lose the point. There's a stench that overwhelms you as you open the rectory door. You see a bed that is just stained and filled with sort of coagulated blood. There are viscera and other scraps of flesh laden about the area. As well as an unspent notice check. Sure, even an unspent notice you would see. There is what looks to be a journal on the desk of the rectory.
Okay. So when I'm looking at all of this grossness everywhere,
And it smells
can
awful and rotten.
Yeah. Can I tell that it is more than one person's?
Ooh, you'd have to spend a point of notice for that.
Okay.
Notice
Yeah.
lets you see it, but if you spend a point, you would know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that just because I want to know what it is.
It's definitely more than one person.
Okay.
You can tell that between the skin tones and stuff, you really start investigating, although you don't know why you want to do that, but you're like, oh, this has got to be more than one person.
Okay. So I don't know if this is true, but I have a feeling in my head that the Reverend is the guy that's doing all this. I will take the journal and I will head out because I don't want to barf in here and leave my my scent here.
Sure. Yeah, you head out and go back to the cabin, I guess, with Erin.
Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll kind of keep an eye as I'm looking around, but also I'll probably try to read this on my way just to
Okay.
Make use of my time.
Okay. As you are you're making your way through, you start reading the journal and you see some passages. You kind of skip to a little bit earlier of the passages. And there is the Reverend is talking about finding a set of teeth or what looks to be maybe part of a bone as well in the forest on one of his walks. And at first he thought, it was nothing. It was just some sort of, animal or, that was killed. And, this is what was left. But he kept walking, but kept feeling a pull of these pieces, these bones. And on his way back, he saw that they were still there and walked over and noticed that it was a few teeth of what looked to be, a predator species, maybe a wolf or a coyote or something like that. And it looked like a piece of a skull of some animal. And he decided to take them back with him because he thought they were fascinating. And as you skip through, right before you get to the cabin, you actually, yeah. So as you get to the cabin, he says, as he's had these, he holds them every day, and he's praying to God about what they are, and maybe there's some sort of portent or some sort of sign from God, and but he still feels this compulsion as he does. He feels like the flesh is evil, the flesh is wrong, and so he must consume the flesh in order to save his flock. And right before you get to the cabin, you read that he was taking confession from one of the members of the community, and as he wrote, devoured him wholly in the rectory. And from that point on, there's a lot of blood splatter and the warping of the pages. But that's what you get to by the time you get to the cabin.
Okay. So I walk in and I just see what's going on first, I guess.
You walk in. I've like rifling through the cabinets to see like what sort of supplies are there.
Sure.
For us, for her, like, there's like, there's flour and potatoes and things. So like we can hole up here if we need, like, we can't travel with her, I don't think. So he's, like trying to get stuff together. It's almost like a movie montage where like put shit down on the table and then like pull the curtains and like, shore up the like that kind of stuff. So like, when Randy comes in, like he's preparing stuff.
Sure. Yeah, there's some dried goods. I mean, a lot of it is like dried grain and that sort of thing. It's pretty heavy and bulky, but there's also some dried meats and sausages, that sort of thing, as well as sort of canned goods, right? Like a can and jar, right? Like vegetables, that sort of stuff. Other than that, everything has rotted or is, got bugs in it and that sort of stuff.
Okay. And, we've got the chickens and we've got the eggs and things like that. So we're not. Yeah. Okay. So he like looks up as the door opens.
So basically Randy comes over and is like, I've found our target. But like in a voice that, even though the little girl doesn't really know what we're talking about, he's basically not talking her away so she can hear it, and then points out the different pages that would, lead him to, figure out that that's what's going on. And then I will say, I was in his rectory. I saw the carnage.
I assume you like pull me over to the side, right? So
You
Hey, I saw a bunch of blood and guts and
that
stuff.
creature ate a bunch of people. There's fucking shit. There's just fucking
exactly.
Intestines and bleeds
blood,
everywhere.
Yeah, bones. Yeah,
it's like a person exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's like, when she said that you'd taken the flock into the woods, I feared that may be the case.
I don't know where he is now. Fortunately, think he would be here, but maybe he has nothing. He thinks he has nothing left, so he might have left himself.
I believe he would know that the girl is still here. He would know his flock. Maybe he was satiated the last time he was here, but I believe he will probably be back.
Do we try to see if we can find anyone else before we hunker down for the night, or?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt to see if there are any more survivors. Maybe something useful will turn up in one of these cabins. I mean, I don't know.
So,
God.
I was just thinking, like, what time of day are we at now?
It's got to be later, right?
Yeah, late afternoon, early evening, maybe. Yeah, late afternoon, early evening.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. So we'll have to make haste if we're going to hunker down for the night.
I Shit, I don't think we asked that little girl what her name is. I assume Erin would have done that off screen as she was babbling.
Sure. It's Sophia.
Okay. So he looks back over and says, Sophia, will you be okay here with Rover and you don't know what this dog's name is, do you?
That's Penelope.
Oh, will you all be okay with Rover and Penelope? We just want to run to a couple of these other cabins and come right back.
Yeah, Rover and I are best friends. We love each other. Rover protected. My parents said the Rover would protect me forever. And Penelope, she's a nice dog. I don't get to pet her much because her owners are pretty strict, but she's pretty nice, and I like petting her too.
Okay, why don't you play a game with the two puppies and don't leave and don't.
Can I give them a treat? They like treats.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll give them a treat, and then they play with these bones, and I'll give them a bone to play with.
So if Randy points out that passage, she's like, just a minute. And they go to look at the bones to see like if it sounds like what
the ones definitely look like cattle. Like the ones there, like she looks like it's a beef bone.
Okay.
Not a person bone.
Okay.
It's a good call. Good call though. Good call.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back.
Okay, I'll wait here. Should I go? Do I have to go in here into this room?
Nope. The Penelope and Rover will keep you safe, and we'll be right back.
Okay, I'll stay here and I'll just play with them. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. He goes out and like pushes the door closed. He says, "I think we're gonna have to make a stand here. If he comes back for her, that's our advantage. We can't drag her through the woods in the middle of the night.
No.
I mean, we could try to hunt it during the day. It must have a resting place, a cave, something somewhere."
Yeah, but it'll be at this point we're too late in the day now, I think, to go looking for it. I think our best bet is to let it come to us.
Yeah, hope we are able to make it through the night. If we survive the night and we don't kill it, I say we hunt it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And they quickly go through the other cabins as the light is starting to fade. Are there any firearms? I'm assuming they would have.
Do you want to spend a point of preparedness?
Sure, I'll do that.
If you spend a point, if you spend a point of preparedness, there's a firearm for every point. Sure. I don't know if each of you want to spend one, if you have one to spend, or if you have more than one to spend. There are muskets for sure. If you have them.
I don't know, like how much more comfortable he would be with that. I mean, I get,
it's
I don't
more
know.
powerful. The difference, I guess, is the amount of damage, right? But
yeah. I'll. Kurt, do you want me to spend 2 points? Do you want one or no?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I will spend both points.
You find 2 long rifles. And I'll give you a bonus. I'll say you get 2 long rifles, muskets, and a pistol that are in working order.
Ooh.
Both better, obviously, than a bow for damage. Particularly for anything that had, that's reinforced. Obviously, a firearm would be much better. So yeah, you got that.
Okay, so he would take the belt for the pistols,
sure,
and whatever extra ammunition.
Yeah, there's enough. There's probably, I don't know, 20 balls of ammunition and enough powder for that shot and primer for each. So, I would say 10 rounds for the pistol, 20 for the rifles. But those are going to require a round.
Yeah. That's a one and done.
Those are a one-shot deal, but they're badass at that point in time, so you might be better off. So
right,
it doesn't hurt.
Okay, so we grab those. I don't know what all else might be useful. Like, I guess, again, like it sounds horrible, but like, 18th century, not Plains Indian, but,
Yeah.
migrating into, like a hammer. I mean, they have to have some sort of equivalent, right?
Oh yeah,
Like if you
need tools,
Yeah,
if you're looking for like hammer, awl,
nail,
a chisel, nail, any of that stuff, wood planks you could get, like any of that, you certainly, even without spending a preparedness, you can have like general just supplies that would be around,
right.
as long as you say what you want and what you're planning on doing with them.
Okay, so planks of wood, hammer, nails.
Oh
to
yeah, you
cover
got
up the
that for you.
windows.
Yep, sure, you can do that.
I assume go ahead.
I think another thing we should do is, how many doors and windows does this shack have?
Right, 2 windows on the front, 1 on the side.
I would say, yeah, I mean, or the other, it'd be more 2 and 1. Yeah. So 3 windows, 1 door.
Okay. I'd like to see, I'm probably going to have to spend something, but I'd like to make some makeshift traps around the windows and the door eventually, as we, put them around the windows and then around the door as we're on the inside. But to make like kind of, dig some not deep holes, but deep enough holes where we can sharpen some sticks and put those in those holes, and then try to lay something on top where it looks like there's nothing wrong with the ground. And so then if it steps into it, then it'll take a little bit of damage.
Do you want to spend a point of preparedness for that, or do you want to roll?
Nope, I will just spend.
Okay, if you spend, there are pit trap, the tiger pit traps at the 3 windows, the door, and the door actually, if you want the door, because the door it's not really like you're up and have a porch or anything. I mean, it's going to be on the ground. So if you want to do that, it would take you into sort of twilight darkness. I mean, it's going to take a little while to dig that sort of pit, even for the 2 of you. But if you wanted to do it, it's definitely doable if you spend the preparedness. You can do it.
Yep.
And you
can go like 2 or 3 feet even, right? Like it doesn't have to be super deep. We're not trying to catch
exactly. That's what I was thinking. Just something to where, it's not going to be like life threatening, but it's going to really,
it could do some damage. And I mean, certainly like it would be dangerous, and you could do that in a couple hours. Sure.
Cool. I think so. Erin would also start a fire in the not in the cabin, but in the fireplace.
In the fireplace,
yeah. And then I'm almost tempted to start a fire in the square, like if they have some sort of central meeting area that has.
I mean, there's a middle, square. There's a town square that has sort of, it's mostly open.
I mean, do they have like braziers or something like that? I would imagine.
I mean, they don't.
Okay.
But there's a pit. Yeah, there's a fire pit, a bonfire type pit.
Okay.
So there's nothing in it right now. It's burned. Everything in there is burned out. Right. It's ash, or wooden sticks that have burned. Not really anything there right now. But
I mean, what do you think, Randy? I mean, it's almost like a beacon to say "fuck you, we're here, come and get us."
Mm-hmm. I think just
because that's what we want, right? I mean, we want to kill it, so we don't want it going somewhere else.
No, but I feel like what Neil said, like Neil knows that she's here, so he will probably come back. Even though she's a tiny person, that doesn't matter to something that is super starving. And I feel like if we're here too, it's gonna smell us. It's gonna smell me. Where I'm sure it's gonna go back to the church and smell me and be like, oh, fresh meat, So I don't think we need to waste our time on that. I think just having the fire at the place and us being there is going to be enough beacon for it, I think.
Is it an advantage to us if we wind up outside? Where is her cabin in relation to the central square?
Let's say, okay. Yeah, I mean, there's Central Square, right? And I would say for some reason, just randomly, I would assumed it was like, if this is the square, it was like here. So sort of in the northeast section ish.
Sort of facing the square then. So like square here and then house like.
Yeah. It's sort of facing, like the square's here, house is here. And there's like door here.
Advantage, right? I mean, then it's backlit so we could see it easier, maybe.
Wait, are you saying if you had a fire or not?
I mean, I kind of want to, but I mean,
that's up to you guys. If it comes from any way other than these two directions, a fire would provide light, but that's up to you guys to decide.
I mean, because my thought is to just like fill the fire pit, start a bonfire, and then leave it. If it comes at 2 or 3 in the morning, then maybe the fire is already burnt out. But if it comes at dusk and the fire's still roaring, if for whatever reason we have to exit the cabin, then we can maybe see it easier. Or if it's backlit, again, the windows are boarded. It's not like we're looking out, right? We're going to be buttoned up tight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that a window would use fire. I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's worth the time.
Okay. I think Randy convinces me that it's like, hey, we got to get these pits dug. We've got to get all of our shit together.
Yeah. Okay. And we don't want to get too exhausted by the time this thing comes anyway.
Fair.
Sure. Okay. So you've set some traps around the cabin. You're bunkering down for the evening. It's quiet outside. It is dark. The wind is blowing.
Wolf house in the distance.
And we'll see what happens on the next episode.
Oh, so good.
Such a good episode.
Nice.
This is working so much better than I thought. Like, I thought it might be stupid, but it's working really good, and I really like it.
Nice.
I'm really happy.
I like it too. You got me off the Klimt in the beginning.
It's so interesting, and like it's gonna have some it'll have like technical like effects later, which is great. Like, I don't know, but it's really interesting, and I'm so happy that it worked out the way that it did. Even though now we have to figure out another time. I don't want to like kick Brett out for another session if he's available, but like we got to do another one without him because you got to finish this up. But
yeah, I suspected that this was going to take more than one session.
Yeah, but it was really good. I feel like you guys were really like on it, and we were on point, and we were getting stuff done. Like once we got into it, we really got into it. So like I think it went really well.
Yeah, it adds another wrinkle to it, so it'll be great.
Yeah. And like I wanted to put the more Huron stuff in as like an entity, so I think that works really well. Like I have an idea for everyone's sort of thing that's happening, but then we'll see what happens with Brett's. But I'm gonna force that one a little bit more because
he's gonna be married to a demon.
Maybe not married, but she's definitely gonna try to she's definitely like, I think this guy's sexy, which I think which is my goal, is to be like, but like not bad. Like she's not a bad demon per se. She's just
spoilers.
But she's a demon. She's still a demon, but my goal was to maybe have her as a reoccurring, like, hey, but I'm not that bad, right? Like, why can't we just make out? Like, we bone real good, kind of thing. Is the goal? It's just kind of what I thought about. So that was what I put in as him for another. There's a whole other thing. There's a whole other inspiration for that. I have so many inspirations, guys. This is we can do so many things. I even have an interesting one for the next thing. That's like,
well, that'll be 12 months from now by the time.
I know. Even once we get this one done, I'll literally have died of old age. But like, I'll have been 89 by the time I get to the next monster. But I have another idea. I kind of want to do another idea that's based on another thing that I think could be really interesting and really fun and cool. So like, I'm super excited about that one. So like, this game's got to keep going because we could have like the most epic. This could basically be Supernatural, the podcast, but it's not because we're not.
But not get shitty after the first couple seasons.
Well, and we're not two hot dudes that are just like being hot around each other. So I guess that's the problem. Can we get two hot dudes to the show? Because if we can do that, we're in business. They'll just play shirtless.
Well, we're three hot dudes. That's the thing. You're right. It's not two.
That's right. That's right. But I feel like that might be too hot for people. I think that's
exactly
the problem. I think the problem is people get so turned on they don't watch and they just masturbate thinking about the three hot dudes. They're like,
I don't care what they're doing.
They're like, I don't even know what they're doing. They're so hot. Like, I turned it on and in 30 seconds, I gotta go masturbate. That's what I imagine happens with this podcast.
Nope. We're gonna have to release a DVD that's too hot for TV.
Yeah. Oh, too hot for TV. And it's this. Look at that hair. Look how hairy it is. I'm like a bear. I'm sorry. Please cut that. Please cut that.
You can't edit the video.
You can edit the video, John. Cut it. Cut that video.
I didn't realize Neil was made out of a shag carpet.
I'm basically from here down. That's shag carpet, baby. This is 1970s shag. This is all fur, baby.
You're actually the Wendigo. That's why
I'm basically
because you've lived it.
I'm a werewolf. This all right here. This is all wolf. This is all fur.
Nice.
I mean, in Austin Powers, she's like, You're hairy like animal. That's me. I'm that guy. So I've had bear offs to be like, no, I'm hairier than anybody, and people were like, no, you're not. And then we go chest to chest, and guess what? I win, baby. This shit's disgusting, and nobody likes it. They just happen to tolerate it, like over there. That's the other room. That's the bedroom. That's where Beth is right now, and I'm gonna get yelled at for yelling.
Nice.
Anyway,
another night where he's yelling about his hairiness.
Mm-hmm. Happens too much. But I thought this was a great session. I had high hopes for it, but then I tempered them, and now they've been exceeded already because we need another session, and not because it was just bullshit. Like, I had a couple of little ideas that really fed into some great shit, and I'm so excited. This is so good.
Nice. And it's cool because like it's hard to do. I mean, it's not a flashback, but it's hard to do that sort of transitional thing when you're in the middle of.
Yeah, but when you were like, "Is there something we could do?" It's like maybe a flashback or something. I was like, "No, I wanted to do this as a thing." Now I thought all three of you might be there, but now I was like, "Oh fuck it!" Like, let's just do it so that I can give you some bonus, like athletics, like offensive points, and that's the whole point. Is like the entity, like this supernatural being, is like, I'm not that powerful, but I can help you hone some of these skills, and I'll do that for you. So I was kind of peppering it in as his like trying to dissuade you from doing it, but then I thought, what if that's your thing? What if like your whole history is like, I know I'm not supposed to, I know it's dangerous, but I'm doing it anyway. So then like, oh, what if he's like, okay, you always choose that, and I understand, so I'm going to help you. So then
which is really fucking cool. Like
I thought it was a great twist. Right?
Yeah,
I was really happy. I was like, I love the fact that like maybe you just always ignore the warnings because you feel like you have to do something.
Mm-hmm. And I love that Randy is my like eternal fucking brother through the struggle.
Yeah, and I felt like maybe Randy's like the guy who's always there to be like, well, what if, like he's the like, well, what if this? I don't know, like because he's more of the analytical. So like you two work together. Like I felt like bad leaving Jack out of it, but then I'm hoping Jack kind of comes in with his own demon lover showing back up. I'm hoping actually honestly is what I want to do is I want her to be a recurring thing for him where like he can actually call on her to help him as not a game breaking type thing, but like so like that can work in. But I thought it would be so I thought it'd be interesting though to have you guys as like not like you're always intertwined, but like you have intertwined enough throughout the ages that he was like, I can pull you together for this focus and move you through these things. And maybe Jack is like a more, I just now thought like, what if he's he's a newer soul. And maybe that's why the demon is so enthralled with him is because he's a newer soul. So like, she's like, loves his vitality because that's the whole thing they're into is like the vitality and the vibrance and the like energy. See, I just did it. Sorry, guys, I ruined some of the things for you. I just thought that's a great fucking plan. I love this game. This game lets me do too much. This game lets me do more than any other game because it's real people, but crazy shit, and I love doing it. I love coming up with cool shit.
Yeah,
awesome.
I really enjoy it.
I don't love keeping Kurt way over his bedtime. But I have tomorrow off, so fuck you guys. We're still like, here, just make this our commercial. Fuck you guys. But anyway, I love this game. I really don't want this game to ever end because I always have so much fun, and I have so many places we can go.
I love it. I know what the ending is when we finally get to it, which we've already talked about.
Yeah. So I think we have a really cool thing going. So
I'm gonna have to pump Pelgrane a little bit more. See if we can't get like a fucking shout out or something from them.
They really don't do Fear itself justice. They do so much more with everything else. And I know it's more popular, but I feel like there's something to it that's more fun to me than almost any other system. Like, okay, there's something different about it than any other system, and that's what I like. So maybe I may transition us to esoterist rule system eventually because it's more.
Well, you got the conspiramid and all that other shit going on
stuff too. Like you have more skills that are more specific. So like that I might do eventually. Like that's kind of what I was thinking. Like you would kind of upgrade eventually to be like fighters of esoterists. But right now you're kind of the agents of like, you're the Fear itself level. We're not quite as well trained, and we can have like a hiatus, like a break, not necessarily even time break, but like, okay, we'll flash forward to when you're like super well trained. But that's what I was thinking. But even then, like, I think this game, I was really mad when my gaming group didn't love it, but like almost hated it. But it's partially because of the monster the horror I chose. But it's like it's the one that everyone chooses, the Sister Rate. I did the Sister Rate for them too. And they hated it. They thought it was stupid. And I was like, you're stupid. So.
Should have told them, listen to this podcast that I do and see how great it actually is.
I know. Like you guys did it way better than they did. They were all like, oh no, this is stupid. It's like, what? It's like a demon that has like Wi-Fi or something. This is stupid. And I'm like, fuck you. Anywho.
It's role playing. It's supposed to be crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. We had like, how many fucking liches have we had attack us in D&D? That's stupid. You're stupid. Anyway. So yeah, but I think I think this is going pretty well. And I have so many ideas now of where to take it. Like so many different missions we can do that are really fun. based on so many things I listened to. So
I think based on this already, and so in a real meta sense, so like the reason that those original spirits don't have the power now that they had before is because people don't believe, right? So that's why you don't have boggins and like all this kind of shit, right? Like in a modern magic, magical realism sort of scenario, like that's the reason, because people don't believe.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So now there's this. So I think when Aaron gets back, like one of the first things he does is try to seek out as much information as he can find, and like is in like 100%. So like, whatever like religious practices, whatever, to try to keep that spark alive.
Sure. Yeah.
Like maybe he goes back to that
typically
reservation.
It was all oral like history, right? By the tribe themselves, right? And there were particular gods or nature spirits for each tribe. And so, it's sort of stealing a little bit from the American gods idea of belief in some way powers these gods. And so he has had his people dwindled so much that he's sort of has lost a lot of power. And then at the same time, some of these outer gods through these weird cult practices have gained a lot of power because they're channeling energy to them, right? So that's kind of what I was going for.
And shit's fucked up and chaotic and the world is in turmoil. So like,
so it breeds
so
it kind of breeds them coming in, and then their energy is felt by these cults, and they seek out things about them, and they find these literature, and then they try to direct energy, and then as they direct energy, those become more powerful, and the more structured gods who may have held off those old chaotic entities are less powerful. Like that was kind of what I was thinking of.
We're on it, you and me.
Sadly, because now every time I come up with something, you're like, wait, is it this? I'm like, motherfucker. God damn it. Can I come up with anything you don't immediately predict?
We have played games for so long together.
I know.
And it's not even
that. You know exactly what I'm going to do. But you know what? You play into it really well. So I'm happy. I'm okay with it because you play it to the hilt.
Yeah. I think Aaron might even go so far as to like maybe teach a summer class about like Huron mythology. Like he's 100% in.
See, because you could also like maybe the professor, right, in DC, like, right, because now like he had studied it, but then like you could always connect with him to learn like more of the like maybe not direct mythos as in you have been directly communicated to, but like you would get more of sort of the background and the cultural sort of ideas, and like you could always work with him more, and then so
me'd always try to contact Lord Huron again. Like I don't think this had anything to do with anything on his part. I mean, he did utter a prayer before.
No, this was all me coming up with. It's more him trying to be like. At first, it was him being like, "Don't do that," but then it's like. You're doing you're kind of doing it anyway, and you always have. So I keep trying to warn you and you don't listen. So I might as well use what I have to help. It's kind of what I was going with on that one. It's like you keep choosing the righteous path, even though you're fighting against unstoppable evil, essentially. So like, I thought I'd give it a little more heroic bent than you're just fucking around with some ghost shit.
Yeah.
So, I like it though. So good.
I'm super stoked. This is super cool. I really like what
it's really
we're doing
fun.
Right now.
This is a great session. This one works so much better than I could have hoped it would. So I'm like super stoked, and I really like the ending. No matter what happens for like the next session to end it is going to be, but like already I'm like, this works so much better than I thought it was going to work. And I was just putting together some ideas, and man, awesome. You guys knocked it out of the park. This is so good, guys.
All right.
Why is anyone watching this live?
Because
You know
it's too
what,
late.
Kurt?
Too
Just
late for
fucking-
old people like me.
Just fucking send a message. Everyone, stop being bitches and watch this.
I know.
live.
I know. Well, hey, people can still watch us on YouTube and on Legends of Tabletop too. So we'll
Thank
get
you
lots
so
of
much,
people.
Kurt, for staying
That's
up
right.
past
Yeah, sounds
past
good.
the normal.
Yeah.
And
Yep. Now I'm gonna go to sleep and dream of horrors. So
don't get eaten alive in your dreams.
Yep. Or maybe it'll just be your Chester. All right. I'll see you guys later.
See you
Have a
later.
good night.
You too. Thanks, Kurt.
Yeah.
Cool. All
Anyway,
right, well,
yeah, that was good, man. Fuck.
it was amazing.
I don't-
It was,
I don't get. I mean, okay, I do get it. Sometimes our episodes go on. This one was not at all like slow.
well, we did stuff.
You guys, like, that's the thing. There was no like big discussion of like argue for half an hour or an hour about stuff. It went so smooth and it was really good. So I think if we can, I don't know, maybe not, but I still think that really could draw some folks if we were a little more concise, because it was a damn good episode to me.
Well, when a
lot
god
of fun.
tells you like you're a fucking spirit warrior that's lived 100 lifetimes and I'm gonna help
Right?
you handle your shit, you're like, well, fuck, let's go kill some stuff.
Right? Isn't it cool? And then it's like, I gotta fucking kill this Wendigo. Like, that's a great story. I was like, I love this story. I loved it. When I thought about like, what could I do as like a thing? I was like, I always kind of wanted to do like the Native American, like maybe you're a warrior fighting something. It's like, what do you fight? And I was like, fuck, Wendigo is like the easiest, perfect answer. But then, because it's like badass, but then also like it kills it's cannibal. So like maybe it had eaten some of the tribe members, but then like the chief's like, we should just let it take who it takes and then we'll stay out of it and we'll move. But then you're like, no, we got to fight. Like, that's what I was hoping would happen. That's what happened. Now you got to fight a Wendigo. It's fucking great. Like, that's a great story. Like, I love, and the Lord Huron showing, like, I loved the idea of having him show up and be like, look, I'm not that powerful, but I will help how I can. And then, like, you and Randy will get some, like, athletics, some shooting, and some, like, scuffling bonus. Boom. And then, like, that's going to help you in the game. Like, your actual characters will get that because you went through that, which is another cool, fun trend. I just like doing it. So
Yeah,
that was fun.
It was awesome.
I had a good time. That was a great episode, man.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
I'm looking forward to the next part. I guess we probably do it next month and just give Todd some or Brett some downtime.
Yeah, tell him while we're recording he can write that theme song. Because or if we do it sooner or whatever. But yeah, like this episode was so good. I'm so happy with it. And it was a fucking flyer. Those sometimes are the ones that work best for me, are the ones that I'm just like, I have a sort of idea. Let's take it there. And it worked really well. So yeah, super stoked to finish it up. And then I'm actually super stoked for the next one after this, even. Like, I have a lot of ways I could go, but I want to finish, like, the finish of this one I think would be really cool. And then whatever we do next will be really fun too. I kind of know what I want to do. And I think it'd be fun. We'll see. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to do next. And it'll be a really fun one as a more straightforward type deal. So
cool.
We'll see. Yeah.
Cool. All right, we should probably give our plug for the coffee. So if you're a coffee aficionado, we have coffee for sale here. We have the legendary brew roasted by Neil himself. It's roasted to order. It's not sitting in a bin somewhere. It's not getting stale, sitting in some warehouse. If you place an order for that legendary brew, it's going to be roasted within a couple of days and then sent to your house as fresh as can be.
By these hands.
By those hands. They're a small batch craft coffee roaster. If you use the code LEGENDS10, you're going to get 10% off your order, and shipping is always free. I suggest you order 2 bags at a time because you can fit 2 bags in an envelope. So it's a little bit cheaper for Neil. It's almost like he's paying you to order his coffee.
It's a lot nicer. It's okay. I use a different envelope, but still it's a lot. It's actually better for me if you get 2. If you get 2, it's better. I can fit it into a priority mail envelope. At most, it's 5 days. It's never 5 days. If you're within a certain region, it's 1 day. It's between 1 and 5 days, but I've had people get it in Hawaii faster than 5 days. So don't worry about it. You'll get it soon. It's all roasted, super fresh. It's all super delicious. I am obsessively committed to quality control. I physically stand there and roast everything. I watch temperature curves, but with these hands, I'm changing heat. I'm changing airflow. I'm changing drum speed. I'm doing all of it, guys. Doing it for you and ladies. Sorry, I don't want to be gender specific. And ladies, all of you peoples out there, I do it for you. And I want to make sure you have the best goddamn coffee you can drink. I want you to think, here's what I want you to do. I want you to drink your coffee in the morning, and I want you to do what I do when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. Okay, now granted, I roast it for my palate, but I'll take a sip sometimes. Sometimes I literally sip my own coffee and go, oh God, this is like, I have to close my eyes because it's that good. I'm like, this is so good. I want you to have that experience. I want you to, and we've gotten so many repeat orders now from the Legends Brew, from some of the shout outs we've had from YouTube channels. So they have to like it. They're ordering multiple bags for that second time. So order once, shame on me. Order twice, congratulations to you. You're great coffee. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, order that coffee. People love it. If you don't love it, email me, shit, I'll send you a free bag of something else to try. Like, I'm just saying, I'm here to satisfy our customers. I'm here to promote this podcast. I love the Legends of Tabletop podcast. I think you should support it. I think everyone should subscribe. I don't know. Is there a Patreon? Because people should be donating to this.
There is theoretically a Patreon. It has zero content because I put it up and I was like, hey, I got to go back and put that stuff in there. And then I'm a lazy piece of shit. So there's nothing there.
Okay, well, there's nothing specific. You might not get anything specific, but maybe I'll start doing a Patreon discount. Maybe the discount will only be for Patreon. I don't know. Anyway, like Legends, listen to it. It's great content. John puts a lot of work into this, guys. Just like I put a lot of work on into the coffee, although I put less than John puts into this editing. He edits a lot. I'm part of the problem. So order that coffee, subscribe, tell a friend. Here's the one thing. Here's all I ask. Just tell a friend. If you like this podcast, just tell one person who you think might like it. Hey, check this out. And even if it's just Fear itself, only if it's just Day Trippers, if it's only Rogue Trip, maybe they just want to listen to one of the series that are going on. Maybe it's the interviews only, whatever they like. But just tell somebody, man, spread the word because we're here for you and we love doing it. And I hope someone loves hearing it.
Hey, we're on Spotify now. So if you are a Spotify user, we are on Spotify. You can check it out there.
Spotify. It's the best. Spotify. I love Spotify. But I pay them. They don't pay. Well, they don't pay us for sure. They don't pay me. And I love Spotify. I pay them every month for their service. Spotify. Listen to us. This is great stuff. Interact. If you email, someone will respond to you. If John doesn't, he can forward me the emails and I'll respond. If it is about me, I don't care. I am very vain. If you send an email asking about me, I'll respond to you. Because you know what? I have no shame and I love attention. So please email us. Interact, man. Guys, tell a friend. Order this coffee. I'll start doing some more stuff on Instagrams and all that good stuff as well. Because we got some cuppings coming up. Got plenty of coffees coming up. But always, Legends of Tabletop Brew. People love it, man. People are really digging this coffee.
Order early, order often.
Yeah. Just ABO. Always be ordering. Terrible.
I like it. That's our new tagline.
Doesn't mean anything. But do it. Just do it, guys. I promise I roast my heart out for you.
Nice. All right. On that note, we are going to dump out of here. I want to thank you for all checking this out. As always, ratings and reviews on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice is super helpful. It bumps up in the algorithms, gets more people looking at the show and downloading the show. So that would be amazing if you could do that. Like I said, we're on Spotify now as well. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know. Just throw a stone. We're probably on some place on the internet. I'm sure you can find us. And thanks for checking it out. We'll catch you next time.